Good morning, everybody. Welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're back here with the mini-series we started on Monday. This is now Wednesday, so it's episode 3 of Masterpiece, which features Black Sabbath. So what this is about is I have chosen my 7 masterpiece albums by Black Sabbath, the only band I might say that has that many masterpiece albums for me. Everybody else is, I think the next one up is 5. But anyway, Sabbath has 7 of them. And I decided to do a mini-series just talking about these 7 albums. I put the albums together, and then I rolled some dice. I'm doing this randomly, so this isn't my least favorite to my most favorite, or my most favorite to my least favorite. This is just random dice rolls that put them in the order that they're in. That's it. No other explanation. I like dice, so anytime I get a chance to use dice, I love to use them. So today we're here to talk about the album The Mob Rules. This is my most recent entry to masterpiece albums for Black Sabbath. Last year I had about 18 albums or so that I was reviewing, and then I think I added 5. I think there was 5 of them that I added, and this was one of the 5 that got added to that list of masterpiece albums. So I'm going to get it in a little bit more better lighting here so you can see it. Yeah, so the artwork on this one is fantastic. So this, first of all, this album came out on November the 4th, 1981. Quite a few years after the first 2 that we did of this series so far. But again, another great album. The band had just come back with that previous album, and it looked like before that they looked like they were done as toast, but they came back with 2 great albums, and this is one of them. This one had the song The Mob Rules on it, which ended up in the movie Heavy Metal. For those of you who didn't know that, it's in that movie. So anyways, this also features Ronnie James Dio on lead vocals, Geezer Butler on bass, Vinny Appice, or Vinny Appice, whatever you want to call him, on the drums, replacing Bill Ward, and Tony Iommi on guitars. So the reason this one took so long, so first of all, the reason this became a masterpiece and took so long to get there, I always never really thought this was a great album. I did like some of the tracks on it quite a bit. Initially, when I was starting out, I got this album. By this time, me and my friend weren't buying and recording albums for each other anymore. We were just buying whatever we wanted. We were both working by this point, and so we had our own money, so we were buying more of our own stuff. And before that, before we were both working full-time, he would buy one with whatever he saved, and I would buy one, and then we would just record them and switch off. So I started buying my own stuff around the beginning of 1980s, and so at that point he was working as well, so he was buying his own stuff too. So that venture was out the door at that point. So this was one of the albums I bought almost immediately after it came out, because by that time I was in love with Sabbath and I couldn't get the albums fast enough. So this album again, I initially liked the first side of the album quite a bit more than the back side. I didn't really listen to that much. The only song on the back side that kind of garnered any interest from me was Slipping Away. So for me it was Turn Up the Night, Voodoo, and Slipping Away. Those were the 3 I loved initially. Really heavy, crunching songs, lots of beefy guitar, lots of catchy riffs, all 3 of them. But I never really followed much of the rest of the album too much. I didn't really like The Mob Rules too much. I felt its overexposure on that movie and then on the radio just kind of killed it a bit for me. But now in retrospect, I think it's a great song. This album sounds better than a lot of Sabbath albums too. The artwork on the cover is better than most of their albums. Really well done, really intricate. You know, it's got that wall. The wall was always a popular thing on albums back then. Yeah, just a really catchy album. So my personal feelings about this album is that it's grown over time. initially it wasn't a masterpiece for many years, and well, up until last year. So I had this album for over 40 years before I decided to make it a masterpiece. So what prompted that? Well, it's continued to get stronger and stronger with each year. Never faded away from me. And plus, I just purchased this CD not too long ago. Before that, I had it on vinyl, and then I didn't have it for a long period of time. Although I was well aware of it and would once in a while listen to it on the radio or whatever I can get a chance to hear it. So it didn't kind of burn out like some of the other ones. And then once I got it back, I realized some of the songs had grown a lot for me over that time. Country Girl being one of them. The Sign of the Southern Cross, probably my favorite track on the album now. Voodoo, Turn Up the Night, and Slipping Away all kind of slipped away a bit. Like they're not, I don't hate them, they're down there. E5150, yeah. Falling Off the Edge of the World, another great track, and over. Both of those tracks have grown stronger for me as well. This was produced by Martin Birch as well, which makes it that much better. So my personal feelings is this has gotten stronger, and the tracks that I didn't listen to before ended up being a lot stronger than I originally was. So now you have an album. At this point in time, I realize this is an album that has almost all topside kind of songs on it, and probably has been overlooked and should have been a masterpiece album some time ago. But once I got it, I realized that and said, you know what, it's got to be in that masterpiece list. So I put it on the nomination list. It was one of the top ones to go through, and just such a great album. So that's how I came to determine it was a masterpiece. My personal feelings is that little bit of negative feeling I had about the album because of the Mob Rules and that heavy metal thing, and the fact that Dio left the band. Those three things were kind of negatives for me that kind of suppressed the album slightly. They're all kind of washed under the bridge now, so they don't really affect me much. So that's how I kind of feel about it now. And I just think this is an album that just sounds great, and it's really much more heavy metal than a lot of their other stuff too. Like everything on here is really dark almost. Yeah, great album. The Mob Rules. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of my masterpiece featuring Black Sabbath and the album Mob Rules. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe. Don't forget to make any comments that you may have about the album itself or the band or this period in Black Sabbath's history, or anything I've said, or anything that you if you had any questions, you could put those down there as well. Anything you want to put, you can put in the comment section down below. Please don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you are kept aware of when the next episode 4, which will come out tomorrow, which is Thursday, and you will, this will actually come out tomorrow. That will come out on the Thursday, which is the day after. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you then. Take care and have a good day. Goodbye.